There are three things a gay always needs.
Craziest thing happened to me today.
We gotta know the tea. We gotta keep the tea. We gotta be the best friend.
Guess who I saw on the dating app the other day?
I'm so glad that phones cannot talk, because if my phone could talk, the secrets that it would tell.
Wow, I really was blessed with good looks. Like, look at me.
I can hear us playing in the background. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Good Day Gay. I'm Russell Ray, along with my co-host, Paulie B, up in the, not up, but down in the down under, down south.
G'day. G'day, gay.
Girl, I could hear our podcast on your end.
On my end?
Is it my end? Bitch, it's mine.
Oh my
bad.
God.
I was like, bro, you can hear it.
We're literally live with technical difficulties right now.
Technical difficulties. Look, y'all, when we stream live on Instagram, we have to press live physically on the computer. So it's like clicking from screen to screen, going back and forth. Oh my gosh, we already have people joining us on IG Live. We have
yes, we do.
Arlene Costa. We have Gerardo. Welcome to the show, y'all. We are talking about situations part 2, because part 1 was just too hot to handle. Okay.
Oh, so much. We got to talk about this. We got to get into it today.
Let's get into it. I want to start. Look, let me start with my situationship experiences.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's okay. So I this is also the train of thought that I lost last week.
Oh, so, yes. Tell us.
Situationships can happen when you're immediately out of a relationship and you right away start dating, and then you meet someone, and then it almost becomes this hero syndrome, right? As in, this is going great. You're good for me. The grass is greener on the other side. And I find for myself that happens a lot of like, it's the hero syndrome. This is all so great. And then sometimes it's happening more than once at the same time. And I'm like, I got to cut one of you off or two of you off.
Wow, multiple syndromes, multiple situationships. Okay.
So, Ronnie, randomly Ronnie Jr. is in the chat. Hey, Ronnie. He said, nothing more frustrating than those darn technical difficulties. Have a great show, fellas. Cheers. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks.
What is your situationship relationship experience? Can you relate to what I go through, or is that just non-relatable?
No, it's definitely relatable.
Oh, my dad is on. Hi, Dad. Okay, go. Hey, Dad. Bob, tell us about your details.
Hey, Dad. I'm living in Australia. Okay, we're everywhere right now. So sorry to those who have tuned in. We actually do get into the topic, so let's get into the topic. We actually do. We promise you. No, of course of course what you've said is relatable. You know, we're human. Everything is relatable. I guess I've never heard of the word hero syndrome before. So maybe is that something you could like touch on a bit more so I can actually relate to it?
So the hero syndrome is when you leave a relationship. It could have been a bad situation or just a relationship that wasn't working for you, and you felt that you were in the wrong place. So you seek out a secondary relationship, almost a rebound in a way. But the hero syndrome is they actually come in. They can either be a friend, they can be someone that you met on a dating app, or someone that you unintentionally are starting to date now, and you see that they're this perfect person that they rescued you, and you were a broken soul, and now they fixed you, so they're your hero, and now you're romanticizing the fact that they could be the perfect one for you.
Do you want the tea, or
come on, Pisces? I know it is.
Tea. All right, Pisces seasons is ended, but I'm still gonna give it. It's tea. I think in those cases, like, yes, I've found myself in those situations before, but I find myself in those situations when I've realized that maybe I'm not exactly ready for something yet, if that makes sense. As in, like, I've been seeing someone and, a little situationship has developed and, we've got a little something going on. Maybe it starts to get a bit too, real, or it starts to
Mm.
feel like a relationship, but in that case, situationship, obviously. It starts to feel like that, but then I might have a little freak out. So then I sort of like pull back a bit, meet someone, and then that someone sort of like fills the hole that like all of not like that. As in
Censor,
like
censor.
okay, hopefully I'm explaining myself correctly. So,
Mhm.
it's almost like
Fills the void.
exactly, I wasn't ready for that situationship yet. And then like something else comes along to distract me. So I see what you mean by like the hero syndrome. It's like,
Mhm,
thank you for pulling me out of that headspace and distracting me. But at the end
mhm,
of the day, like, I think it's important to take like a self check in on yourself and to say, okay, well, why was I feeling that way? Or why am I now, latching onto this hero that's saved me from whatever this was? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
yes.
there's a lot of there can be a lot of insecurities at play there that are worth looking into and worth understanding from yourself point of view, if that makes sense.
Mhm. It does make sense. I also want to chime back into the chat for a second. Ronnie said, I think those situationships, quote, can accidentally happen if you do the whole, you need to get under someone to get over someone. And then accidentally that rebound might be a situationship, which I will say I know a few people who go about their breakups
Yeah.
that way and end
And
up in full blown relationships. And then they think to themselves, how did I end up here? I was not looking for anything.
exactly.
He also said,
But
LOL
again,
fills the hole.
we're going to move on from that. We're moving on from that. But again, like, people that give the advice in order to get over someone, you need to get under someone. Again, like, why does sex, or why does seeking out sex with someone else have to be the answer? Like, again, having an internal look into yourself and saying, am I seeking out sex because I don't know, avoiding the real issue, or do I legitimately, genuinely want to have sex? If that makes sense.
I feel like people right away go into sexual relations because they want to feel valid
Some
and sexy and
exactly.
wanted and worthy of
Yeah.
having someone else's attention. Sometimes it's the
Yeah.
thirst, right? So if
Yeah.
you were
Yeah. Yeah.
lacking that prior, you might seek that out in excess this next time around now that you're single.
And maybe that's where you have actually like done the mental check-in and been, okay, this is what was lacking in the past relationship. It was sex, so I need to then seek out sex in order to validate myself and feel more like myself, if that makes sense. Like, I think everything in my experience, like, I found that um as in like things like when things are done with intention, then you
Mm,
get the best result, if that makes sense. Like, if there
mhm.
isn't the right intention behind something, then you might end up doing something that you regret. Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
What
Mm.
about what about cheating in situationships? Like what so we had talked about um our situationships more common in heterosexual relationships or gay relationships, and we came to the conclusion that it's equal, right?
Yeah.
Now, open relationships are more common in the LGBTQ community versus the straight community. So,
Mm.
in an open relationship, what happens if you end up in an accidental situationship if you're seeking out this different sector, right? Which is the whole reason you might be open. And now you found yourself with this person committing feelings towards you because you've given them your time and space. Then what happens?
Look, I've never experienced being in an open relationship. I do have friends that are in open relationships, and I've met a lot of people that are in open relationships. The common theme that I found between open relationships that I guess you could say are successful and have
Mhm.
worked out is that there have been clear boundaries and clear expectations of each partner, and basically the areas that you can operate into in an open relationship. So
Mm.
if you've if you're in an blah, blah, blah. If you're in an open relationship and you've accidentally fallen into another relationship,
Mhm.
have you acted outside the boundaries and the expectations that you and your partner have set?
But
And
what if
that
it's
is the
not?
T.
What if it's the other what if it's the other person and you thought, "Hey, this is fine." And then the other person is like, "I'm really falling in love with you." And you're like, "What the hell? Where did this come from?"
Then
Right?
you know what? The other person is suffering from a case of delulu, bitch. No, that's really mean. As in, like,
There's
okay,
what I was looking for. You love this
you.
call.
I do, I do. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
I do have a
So
story for you really quick.
tell the story.
It's so I met someone the other day at work, and it was a very interesting dynamic going on there, and this is gonna be rough
Okay,
for me to break down because I don't wanna botch it. So, it
botched.
was a situationship turned throuple. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, one person okay, let me get this right. One person was seeing this couple who was in an open relationship. Yes. Now, yes. Now, the one person who was seeing the couple and, playing with the couple started dating one of the guys in the couple, and then the couple broke up and these two ended up together. Okay. So the
Mm.
other person fell off. Now they're in a relationship. And then this new relationship, the husband considers himself asexual. And according to this whole situation, asexual is that just doesn't enjoy having sex. It doesn't do anything for them. So the
I
the
feel like
guy
we
who's
need to
original
revisit that definition of asexual, but yeah, I guess
yes,
that's
but in their definition, that's what I went for. I said okay. I just went with it
yeah,
because I wanted to understand more of what was
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
So now the person who was originally seeing the couple, who ended up now becoming a couple, was seeking out sex with a different person because this relationship turned open. And
Okay,
now this couple, one of the husbands has a boyfriend who is now living or moving in with the married couple, but the husband and the other husband's boyfriend don't interact because there's no sexual chemistry there, but they're all living under the same roof. God, that was so hard to get out.
oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got a few questions here just in terms of clarification.
Okay.
So, okay, so who's the asexual one in the relationship? Is he the one that was initially a single, or is he the one that left his partner to date the single?
He's the one who left his partner to date the single.
Okay, and then now the single who's not single anymore has now met someone outside of the relationship who's become a boyfriend. So essentially now they're in a polyamorous relationship and the
Yes.
boyfriend is moving in with them. However, the boyfriend is housemates with his boyfriend's husband. That's the
Yes.
that's the story. It's being housemates with your boyfriend's husband. Oh,
Yes.
TV show.
Look, I was I don't look, I listen and I don't judge.
We listen
So,
and don't judge. Ah.
I listen and I don't judge. And so when I was receiving this information will by an oversharer, I unseekingly was given this information just on small talk, like the smallest talk you could ever have in your whole entire life. It was like, oh, I
Okay,
really like your
okay.
shirt. Where did you get from? That's cute. Oh my God. Yeah. We went to Disney World, and I'm with my husband, and I'm with my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, okay. And that was my response was, oh, okay. Because I get very awkward in situations like that where unsolicited information is given to me, because I don't want anybody's information, right? If
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to be involved, I don't like to be dragged into anybody's business. And
yeah.
if someone is actively seeking out my advice, I will give it to them, and I will not report to the other side. But this was just a lot of information coming at me at one time. I was so overwhelmed. It felt like I was I don't want to say in a fun house. It felt like I couldn't turn anywhere and get away from this. It was just constantly it was given to me like over and over and over.
Well, that's probably
So
how the guy feels, because he turns one way, sees his husband, turns the other way, sees his boyfriend, and he's like, ah!
so that was a situationship turned threesome, turned situationship, turned polyamorous marriage boyfriend, but two of them don't interact.
And I think, like, okay, so what I've learned is, like I said, I've never been in an open or in a polyamorous relationship. When I first came out, and in all of my relationships, I've been very much exclusive, no to open, no to poly, no to nothing. I've been single for a while now. And like I said, I've got friends in open relationships. I've met people in polyamorous relationships. I've met, a lot of people that what works for them works for them. And so I think it's in exactly what you just said. We listen, but we don't judge, because at the end of the day, like, if it works for them, there's you with your, if it,
I listen and I don't judge, but I might make a face.
Okay, well, if you make a face, then yeah, you make a face. I think an Aquarius thing, that's an Aquarius thing, the face.
Hell yeah.
I think, like, and that's exactly like what works for people works for them. So in hearing this story, I just hope that everyone in every party involved is comfortable with the situation. That, obviously one guy's comfortable because he's got a husband and a boyfriend, but then I hope that the husband's comfortable knowing that his husband has a boyfriend and is being sexually satisfied. And I hope that the boyfriend is comfortable that his boyfriend, has a husband that was in the picture before he was, and that he has to respect that. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we don't know the full story, but if it works for them, it works for them. And I hope that everyone is being safe. I don't know why I said that at the end.
The only thought that I had was the marriage relationship is obviously mentally fulfilling and stimulating, and maybe the romance is mentally stimulating and fulfilling, just lacking the sexual aspect of it. Now my concern does the boyfriend only feel like a materialistic object because the sexual side of that relationship is being fulfilled? Is it more physical that's going on with these two more than mental and emotional stimulation? Or if that's the whole package, right? If it's mental, physical, and emotional, why are you still with the husband? Because people can't out here, let alone get a text back, and this man has two men.
Yeah, can he share? Because I'm over here in Australia, single as fuck. So tell him to share. Okay.
And
yeah,
that was just interesting to me that situationship twice turned into a throuple or polyamorous. But I want to move on to the next subject. But I just thought
it's interesting. Yeah,
it was so fascinating, and I think if you're going to be in an open relationship, you should definitely be entirely fulfilled. You should be entirely fulfilled in your immediate relationship, and then the openness, I believe, should happen for like the freaky deaky things that maybe the other person is not into. So if you're entirely fulfilled with your significant other, your spouse, your husband, but you're like, I want to be tied up down upside down from a ceiling and smacked with the paddle on the ass, then that's the kind of scenario where it's like, well, maybe you should see that with somebody else and not here at
Look,
home because you
again,
know, because everything else can fly, but I don't want to be tied upside down, right? So I feel like when people go into open relationships, it has to do with something like that, as in they're entirely fulfilled at home, but just there's just some things that you're like, this is off limits.
and I feel like at the end of the day, I'm always going to go back to the guru in me and give the advice that, like, with self-awareness and intention, then hopefully you're doing all of this stuff from a place of self-awareness and understanding of yourself, that you know why you're doing things and you know where things are coming from, and that you're literally not just, I don't know, doing things to fill a void or a hole or anything like that. But yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, so now we want to move into when to get the out of a situationship. So some of the notes that I had written down were, if you're not on the same page, if the communication is not clear, if you're catching feelings and they're not, if you're constantly anxious about where it's going, if they're stringing you along and giving you mixed signals, you feel like an option and not a priority, which I do have the down as notes, but I feel like that is wishy-washy, because you can be an option and a priority, because someone might be putting their career as their priority, not necessarily another person. But I had to touch on that because, people are emotional and people
Yeah,
are
and
people get mad at me if I don't mention these things. I get DMs.
I think like that's everybody. Like I think I don't know what's going on right now. I'm just watching this cute little couple go for a stroll outside. Yes, are y'all in
Oh my
love?
gosh, go ask if they want to be in a situationship.
Are y'all in a situationship or a committed
Are
relationship?
you committed? Yell out the window if they're committed and see if they'll come get on the podcast.
They've already gone. They've turned the corner.
Chase them down, girl. I know you got Wi-Fi. I know you have cell service. Take the phone with your Instagram live and run over there.
I got a question for you. Okay, I think like all of that is quite valid, but I think there's also the other side of that. Sometimes it's difficult, and I know, sometimes you see your friends in situationships, and they're in the relationship, and you look at your friend and you go like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Like, why are you in that situation? Get the F out of it. But sometimes when you're in it, like, there is a difficulty in leaving that situation. So I think, like, yes, there are so many signs that can be like, coming at you and being like, girl, you need to get out. But then on the flip side, like, if you're in a situationship and there's all the signs to you that you need to get out, at the end of the day, if you haven't gotten out, then really, like, you've kept yourself in that situationship and you've put yourself in that situationship. Like, you did this to yourself, girl. You did this to yourself.
What do you think makes people stay in situationships? Do you think it's a validation issue?
Yeah, of course. Like, it's
think that they can do better.
I don't think it's that they could do better, but I think it's like there's so many like things at play, right? And a big part of it is insecurity. Like, maybe if I hang around, things will get better. Or maybe if I hang around, like, he'll eventually pick me. Or like I said, like, I don't know if I'll ever meet someone like this again. So I would rather feel shit about myself than actually cutting myself off, investing in myself, and then finding something actually better. Like, do you know what I mean? I really should just be, I should write a book. Why am I like this? Why do I say stuff like that?
I feel as if some people don't know where to go. So they don't want to leave the situationship because they don't want to be alone. I feel like in today's society there is a lot of depression that has gone around than in past generations. And people don't know how to deal with it because you look on Instagram and everyone is happy and you have these couples and they're holding hands and they're taking pictures and everything is just so seamless and flawless in their relationship. And then you looking in the mirror and you're thinking, am I not good enough? Why does nobody want me? What am I doing
Mm,
wrong?
mm,
What's
mm,
happening? And then you land something and then you're sitting there like this is good enough. It's not great. So then
mm.
you don't leave. And I feel
Yeah.
bad for those people because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not going to work out anyways.
No.
But they also might not have a solid friend circle. Now, there
Yeah.
are some people who are just built different, who need zero friends, zero relationships, and can just power through because they have a mission that they're trying to achieve. Like, I would use Beyonce and J-Lo as an example. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyonce landed her relationship, but through Destiny's Child uh and through her primary years of her solo career, she was on a mission to achieve her goals. And Jennifer Lopez has been married 3 or 4 times now because it almost seems like she can't find someone that matches her work ethic and dedication to her craft, right?
Mm, mm,
Because
mm,
she's doing a lot.
mm.
Uh like she has I think 2 movies coming out right now. So she was the original influencer, right? So you had Glow by J-Lo, you had all these J-Lo products. Like she was
You love J-Lo.
I do, but
You got J-Lo behind you
I
right
also give
now.
credit where credit is due. And J-Lo was basically the original. She really is one of the original people who tapped into a market
Mm.
of beauty in a different sense.
Yeah. 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 Like
Um,
it's okay to have a
which
fat ass. It's okay to have a big ass. Like, do you know what I
yes,
mean?
and it, and
Yeah.
it it paved the way for a lot of people in today's society and a lot of
Mm.
influencers in today's society. Um, so again, I feel like if you're one of those people who end up in a depressive state because you feel like your worthiness is just not there, I implore you to leave the situationship that you could potentially be in and go. Not necessarily, you might not need to seek counseling. You just might need to see someone else's circumstance. So maybe you should volunteer with a homeless shelter or taking care of babies, which you can go to the hospital and you can get cleared and you can get up and you can go take care and see these situations of, oh, these children were given up by their families. And I know this is
Yeah.
very extreme, but in a sense it snaps you out of where you would be, right? So I had a teacher
Yeah.
in high school actually tell me this,
Yeah.
not me
Yeah.
personally, but just to the class, you know, no matter what situation you're going through, unless it's abuse, you can get through it. And he
Yeah.
said, and if you feel like you can't get through it, maybe you should go volunteer for the babies who were born with HIV whose parents didn't want them.
Oh.
And I was just, it made me, since that moment, I have thought about life in a different way, as in,
Yeah.
if you don't have a good support group, you can walk away from it. If you don't have a good friendship circle, you can walk away from it. If you don't have a good job, you can
Mm.
walk away from it because you can
Mm.
continuously reinvent yourself to be a better version of you and achieve whatever you need to achieve in order to fulfill yourself.
Yeah. And
That
I
got
think
deep.
that got really deep. Oh, no, I love deep. Deep is good. I love these conversations. Um, and that is great, and I think that's a good way to not only give to yourself but to give to the community. But
Mhm.
like, acknowledge, like, that was an extreme example, and sometimes people are scared to go to that extreme. Do you know what I mean? But I've had quite a few friends that would explain things to me and say, oh, like, I've been hanging out with this guy, and, like, he'll never message me, or, like, I always have to be the one to message him, or, like, we've been hanging out now and I don't know what he wants, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like I'm not myself. Like, and as soon
Mm.
as my friends would say to me, like, I feel like I'm not that self, then the advice that I always give, because this is what snaps me out of it, is okay, well, if you feel like you're not yourself, then why don't you take a break from whatever that situation is and do
Mhm.
things that remind you who you are.
You are.
So remind you who you are. So like
Yes.
one thing that reminds me who I am is my friends. So I'll reach out to like my best friends. I'll reach out to Leah. I'll reach out to my friend Kat because she always gasses me up. Like I'll reach out to those friends that remind me of who I am. Like Paul, like you're fucking
Mhm.
amazing. Like like I'm literally looking at myself in the mirror right now, and I was like trying to concentrate on the podcast, but I can't when like the reflection's staring at
That's okay
me.
because I'm looking at my own little screen on the computer.
But like so like just remind yourself who you are. And like another thing that reminds me of who I am is dance, because when I dance it like brings me back into my body and reminds me of like wow, like I'm a good dancer. Like I like why can I perform and have the confidence to dance but I can't perform and have the confidence to get out of something that makes my body and like doesn't calm my nervous system. So
Mm,
those are like I think doing something like volunteering and trying something new is amazing, but a way of starting small is like what do you love and what reminds you, what are the things that brings you joy? Like is it reading a book? Okay, go read a
mm,
book. Is it
yummy.
the beach? Like go up.
Yes.
I'm not a reader, the library is
Absolutely.
closed.
My ADHD, HGTV, and everything else that is in between does not allow me to read a book. I've rolled on my stomach, on my back. The only books I can do are audiobooks because I could listen to someone else's voice and I'm like, well, they have a squeaky little voice. Like, that's cute. I want to listen to this. But my attention and part of it is because I was never taught to enjoy reading
Yeah.
because because my mom dropped out of high school at a certain age and my dad was always at work from sunrise. He was up before we were and he was out of the house before we even started getting ready for school. So we played sports and so there was not a lot of
Mm,
downtime, there was a lot of busyness.
mm, mm.
So I don't read. um Unless
um
I read like articles and poems. I can do that all day. I just can't do a start to finish novel. It's hard.
and you read a bitch down.
Oh, biz, I will read you
Out a
through
bitch
and through.
down.
Matter of fact, let me go take care of this neighbor real quick. I'll be right back.
Not the neighbor. Um,
But getting
I,
back to our point,
yeah.
how do you create this escape plan? And we touched on it a little bit. Get back to yourself, which I feel like was step one in my notes, which is get real with yourself. Do you actually want a relationship? Are you actually being fulfilled in who you are? Are they supporting who you are as an individual? Or are you going against or omitting things that you enjoy in order to fulfill this relationship slash situationship? Because that might
Mm,
not be
mm,
for you.
mm.
Step
I
number
feel
two.
like,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
go
Go
on.
ahead. I was
I
step
was
number
just about
two.
to
Have the talk.
the talk. But like, okay, before the talk, like I feel like advice of all advice is like the only way that you can leave the situationship is when you give to yourself. Like so
Mm-hmm.
like before you can have the talk, like you need to give to yourself to be like, you know what, like I'm done. Like I'm fucking done with this situationship. I'm gonna have the talk, like because I'm gonna give to myself, because I'm gonna love myself, because I deserve better. Like, and if you like you touched on it about like the friend circles, like if you really can't give to yourself, then I really hope that you're in a circle or in a friendship group that can give back to you and be like, bitch, you need to get out. Like you
Mm.
deserve so much better. Like legit, like I hope everyone has friends like that that will just read you down and just tell you what the truth is. Like you need to stop because you're being like fucking crazy and delusional right now. Like get out. So I feel like before you can do all of that stuff, there needs to be a realization that you actually deserve better. Yeah.
I feel like I will say be careful with that if you're reaching out to others. I am that person who people
Mm,
constantly reach out to when they're having low moments.
yeah.
And because my friends do see that I am that type of
am that
person.
bitch. Yeah.
I tend to buckle down. I don't necessarily 100% seek support. There are two friends that I constantly do seek support from or advice, and it's very. But in a sense, I already know where I'm going. I just want the validation, or I want to be corrected as I'm like, you're not seeing this
Yeah.
clearly. Then I take a step back and think, okay, I'm moving too fast on this.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly reaching out to the same person and you're not doing steps to improve your own life, that shit gets tiring. It's exhausting when you're constantly
Yeah.
asked to help uplift someone who can't uplift themselves, or who just doesn't want to get better in life or in the world. That can be so, it's like an anchor. It pulls you down a lot.
Yeah, and again, that's, you know, going back to what I said, like that's giving back to yourself, because you're kind of like, all right, I've been a friend to this person and I've been giving this person some genuine advice and I genuinely would like to help this person, but now they're bringing me down, and so I'm going to give to myself and leave the situation, or like just leave that situation, still be there for them, but you know, maybe if I give them advice again, they're not going to listen, so I'm just going to save my breath.
I did post something today
You
because I
did?
thought it was relevant to this.
Yep.
Let me read it to you. It said, "Stop being the one who always makes the effort, relax and let the ship sink." And sometimes I see like posts, and it was funny because someone reached out to me and said, "Thank you so much because I needed this today." And so I responded with, "Oh my gosh, that makes me feel so good." Even if it's one person, when I post things, it's either A, to make you laugh, or B, it's advice that I've either learned by myself or have understood as I've made my own errors. So if I can post that and someone can see that sooner for themselves, then I'm like, I accomplished what I'm doing on the internet today. Like, I do not want to bring anybody down on the internet. I do not want to trash talk
No,
anybody on the internet. I don't want to waste my
no.
time with bullshit on the internet. So it's either A, to make you laugh and bring you joy, or B, to really kind of bring you some self-enlightenment. And so, and I learned this lesson, you know, a couple years ago, like just stop. I learned that with one of my exes. I was always putting the effort out there, and I was always trying to, getting back to step number 2, having the talk and confronting
Yes,
and
yeah.
asking what this issue is. And then I learned, if I'm constantly the one that's putting it out there, constantly the one that's making things happen, and constantly the one who's putting the entire effort and not even met halfway, then sometimes you just have to let that sink. And part of self-care is also being able to walk away with no explanation to the other person, because they don't deserve it. We're all grown. We know what we're doing. If I do
Yeah.
something manipulative or malicious toward you, you're going to stop talking to me. I don't need an explanation. I know exactly what I did. So confront them and ask them, what are we doing? And prepare yourself to hear the words, "Oh, you're just a friend with benefits." Prepare yourself for that, and know, and figure out if you're okay with that, because that releases you from any attachments.
I do want to go back to the Delulu disease though, because like, and look, sometimes I have the Delulu disease. I've got friends that have the Delulu disease, and y'all know who you are, and I love you, and you know, we're going to spill the tea to each other because that's what we do. We're friends. We tell each other, you have Delulu. But sometimes people have the Delulu disease where they hear that, look, you're just a friend of benefits to me, or you're just a friend to me. And then you circle back and go, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a friend. I'm okay with just being friends with benefits. But in the back of your mind, you're not okay with it because you still want more. You're still wishing that eventually you'll come out of the friend zone or out of the benefit zone and get more. Like, you know, so the talk helps, but the talk needs to happen when you're free from Delulu, which is hard. Like, again, being like overcoming Delulu is hard.
Yes, but also sometimes you do need to be a little delulu in your own corner, right? Like, I'm the baddest bitch that's walked this earth. You don't deserve me, because if you're delusional in that aspect, you can walk away and not care. about whatever
Yes.
happens in any sense, right? So that's the
Yeah.
only time that I agree with being Delulu is if you're looking at stuff like I'm the best bitch and I can go head to head with Beyonce and be that person or be
I
that person and walk in those shoes because then
oh,
at that point
100%.
the other person might be intimidated and think, oh shoot, they're better than I am. I can't keep up with this. No,
Yeah.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah, because no, you know what? I have that Delulu disease because I don't know why, but every time I like walk to work or walk at lunchtime, I think I'm going to be approached by the person in New York that says, "Excuse me, you look really confident." Like
Yes.
that's literally how I walk all the time. Like I'm walking at like Rundle Mall in Adelaide at like 8 a.m. It's fucking empty because it's Adelaide and it's not busy, and there I am, like walking with confidence, thinking someone's gonna walk up to me and be like, "Excuse me, you look really confident." Like,
Absolutely.
that's
Sometimes I
absolutely.
when I'm walking through the gym, people think I'm an asshole in the gym because I don't talk to anybody. But my music is going and I'm moving like I'm walking my runway. Okay, my body envisioned is is so beyond perfect in my mind, and that's healthy for me. Some of y'all that's not healthy. Don't do that. But for me, I'm
Okay,
like
let's.
I'm about to be the baddest bitch, the biggest pecs, the biggest arms, and nobody can stop me from achieving this. We are not going to talk and have a conversation because I'm moving and I'm getting this workout in.
Let's bring it back to point two then and say point two, having the talk works when you're healthy Delulu, not when you're unhealthy Delulu.
And when
Point
you
three.
have the talk,
Yeah.
don't beg for
Oh
attention. Don't beg
no.
for attention. Don't beg for your validation. All you're doing is confronting them and you're asking them what they feel like we're doing. And they're
Yeah.
either going to match your energy and,
Mm,
oh, I really like you.
mm.
I really think this is going somewhere. And then at that point, have the conversation of, okay, so are we moving on to being exclusive and should we commit to each other?
And
That is
again,
what this conversation should achieve.
correct. Exactly. And that's exactly what I wanted to say. Like, I want to bring it back to intention. Like, if you're going to have the talk with your situationship, then the intention should be I'm going to clarify this, and whatever the outcome of the conversation is, I'll deal with it and deal with the outcome, even if it's negative. But don't have the talk with your situationship with the intention that if I have this talk, then I'm going to be able to beg for them to stay and to be my boyfriend. Like,
Mm.
no, I think that intention is again deludely unhealthy.
So something about someone begging is the
It's hot.
biggest tur-
Sorry, I don't know. But it's hot.
is the biggest turnoff to me. It's whiny. Whiny is also another major turnoff. Like, well, why don't you like me? I'm so perfect for you. And I see it in characters in television shows all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to throw
Yeah.
my shoe at the television because it gets me so mad. Like, you are a bad bitch. Because obviously you see all the sides of the character, right? You're like, you're a
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
bitch. Why
yeah,
are you begging him for anything?
yeah.
And people beg for it.
And yeah, like again, I sometimes feel like I get into that character, and I've come to you a few times, Russ, and I've been like, I see a rant, and then I like rant to you all of this stuff, like blah 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 blah, and then you fully gas me up. And again, like another friend that I love is like Assad, because again, like I'll like have these conversations with Assad, and legit Assad will just say to me like, just stop being available. Like, stop making yourself more available. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
That's not what I wanted to hear, but yes, I knew that's what you were going to say, and that's what I knew I needed to hear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
And it's
but let me
crazy. Like,
I will
ah, ah.
always gas up my friends. I will always gas up my friends. And if I can't gas you up, I will get you to the point where I can gas you up. Like if you look a hot mess, I ain't gonna gas you up and be like, girl, you look good. Now I'm like, all right, let's get you a relaxer. Let's get you some product. Even if I gotta help you out of my own pocket, we're gonna get you there and I'm gonna gas you up. Okay.
Gas me up, give me motivation.
Baby, I'm gonna
Hey.
be your motivation. Go, go, go.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Did you have any more
Step
points?
number 3, set your new boundaries and do not stray away from them and don't back up. If they're crossing a boundary, or they aren't respecting your boundaries, then cut them loose.
Have an accountability partner, because I feel like sometimes I've set boundaries with myself in the past to say I
Mm-hmm.
am going to set this boundary with this person,
Mm,
and I haven't told anyone the boundary that I set, so I can operate outside of the boundary without getting called out. But
mm,
you know, one person that I'll always like, sometimes when I talk to one of my best friends, Leah, I think I just have to tell her the whole story, everything that I'm feeling, every detail, even all of that, so that she's aware of, like, when I set a boundary and she sees me operating outside of that boundary, she can call me out instantly. So I
mm.
think one thing, if you're going to set boundaries, one way to make sure that you stick to those boundaries is to have those accountability partners and, those friends that will again be like, you're outside of the boundary. Get back in. Get back in.
My mom's friend, she's like an auntie to me. She you know how that goes. She's
Yeah.
auntie. She will
Yeah.
be going to actually she will actually be going to my show tomorrow.
Oh,
So when I give my
yes.
mom a shout out tomorrow at the show, I will be giving auntie a shout out as well. And
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
sister and her friends are cousins. So I'm gonna say, cousins.
Yes. A
Um,
cousin.
because it's just too much to explain. If anybody who's ethnic knows, it's too much to explain. Like, this is my friend's cousin's brother's sister's friend, and they hang out with that.
It's your
No, these
family.
are my
They're your
cousins. This
family.
is my sister. This is my mother. This is my
Yeah.
auntie.
They're your
Um,
family.
this is auntie. But my mom's friend, my mom was going to her one time for advice, and my mom was like in this, in this having a little moment.
We all
And
do.
her friend checked her, and my mom still references this until this day. And this is how I know my mom respects that
That.
advice, because
Yeah.
my mom is usually one giving advice. She said, "Okay, girl, so that was the last time we're going to talk about this, because we're not going to waste any more time or breath on this. That is not good for you. If you want to
Mm.
continue to pursue that, that's great. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to hear about it." And my mom said that was like a reality slap to the face of, oh my God, just let it go. And
Yeah.
it was like a bad friendship that my mom had been
Yeah.
dealing with for years and years and years. And so my mom's
Yeah.
friend put her in her place, and my mom cut that friend off. And that friend of me still reaches out until this day. We'll send like, and there's like stalker vibes. Like, we'll send my mom messages on different forms of social media. And my mom doesn't have social media. She has very like
Mm.
minimal social media,
Mm.
like things for like design and, stuff like that. My mom doesn't care about
Mm.
viral trends or anything. She's more there for
Mm.
design and interior. And it'll be like random message. My mom was like, "Guess who messaged me?" And I said, "Oh no, girl." I said, "Block again."
Blocka, blocka, blocka.
But those boundaries are important. My friend Marsha, Marsha is my accountability friend.
Nice.
Um, and I don't tell Marsha something. I tell
She'll
Marsha
find out.
everything, but
If you don't tell her, she'll find out.
if I say it out loud to Marsha, that's
It
accountability
makes
to
it
myself,
real.
because I'm like, I have
Exactly.
to follow through, or I have to do that. So if I tell Marsha I'm gonna make $1,000 by the end of this week, and then at the end of the week I'm complaining about not making $1,000, she's gonna be like, and I don't
Well,
like feeling that way, so I'll be like, I'm gonna find a
yeah,
way to make
yeah,
$1,000 by the end of this week.
yeah, yeah,
So Marsha is my
yeah.
accountability partner. One of a couple that I have, but Marsha's like,
Yeah.
she will let me know. She's from the Bay Area of California. She will let you know what's up. She's a real one.
Bay Area.
Moving on to step
Yes.
4, which is cut them off. No more 2 a.m. What you doing text, because as we said last week, if you're getting a call at midnight, girl, you a booty
You a
call.
booty call.
And nobody wants to be a booty call. If you have a booty call, sometimes you need a booty call, but you don't
I was
want
gonna
to
say, like,
constantly
yeah.
be.
I think, like, the good, again, healthy, unhealthy, healthy booty call, when
What's a healthy booty call?
that's a healthy booty call. That free of emotion, free of toxicity, free of all of that. Unhealthy booty call is when it's like, and then you're just crying in the corner later, like.
Oh no, I hate that. I just
That's
had a visual representation of all of that.
oh my gosh. Well, that's unhealthy booty call. When you then are in your feelings afterwards, like again, if we're gonna be a booty call, be the healthy type.
Oh my gosh.
I've
Okay.
distracted you now. I've
Have you had a
distracted
healthy
you
booty
now.
call? Have you ever had a booty call turn situationship?
Uh no. I think that I don't again, I just don't put myself in those situations. I don't. Like I really don't.
Okay. Well, moving on. I have
You're like, well, you're boring. Bye. Um
I have a question from a listener. Let me find it because it's in my personal DMs. Please hold.
yes.
Okay. They wanted to remain Anani, so I told them I would
Love you,
respect that and
Anani.
I would allow them to be Anani. So Anani, shout out to you. You know who you are. If you were in my DMs on Tuesday at 11:07 in the morning, this this is your question. They said they didn't know what a situationship was until someone told me they were in one and didn't seem too excited about it. I assume that meant he was taken, kind of seeing someone, but was letting me know the door is open, question mark. I don't know. I said anywho, that man in a situationship sounds like he could potentially be hot, but could be messy. So I think you should lean into it. Okay, that was my response. His response was it almost seemed like he was not into the situationship and over it. But does a situationship mean that there is no exclusivity? I said, yes, that means it's neither here nor there. They don't want you to have control over what they do. He said, oh. Um, he said, I'm genuinely a direct person. I'm also an extroverted introvert. I'm comfortable waiting for someone to give me clues that they're interested first. So do I take the direct route and shoot my shot or lay back and read the room a little more if I'm unsure, waiting for subtle cues that spell it out for me? I'm also comfortable asking if the interest is mutual and if it's not, great, no worries, no harm, no foul. I can easily move forward as a friend too, but simply needed to know uh but it simply needed you to know you're so hot and kind, so thought you should know. That might be too verbose. LOL. I said, okay, I will talk to Paul about this and we will seek our advice because seek and ye shall find. So, what is your take on this?
Okay, so what I understand is that what I understand is that he likes someone, that someone is in a situationship, but then he's like, okay, do I shoot my shot or do I just wait and see what the cues are?
Hmm.
Is that what it is?
That's what
Now
I'm
look,
understanding.
that's what I've understood.
Okay.
Now I am someone that used to have a lot of anxiety, and I would constantly live in those anxious thoughts and live in those anxious feelings. Through therapy, through counseling, I've learned how to overcome all of that anxiety. And at the end of the day, I am very direct. I am very like, yo, what is it?
Mm.
We're gonna go on. What is it? Are you interested in going on a date? No, cool. I'm gonna move on with my life. Like, what's the situation? What's happening with you in this situationship? You tell me you want to get out, but from what I can see, you're not getting out. So, see ya. Like, that's just who I am because
Mm.
I would rather live in an area of certainty and in an area that allows me to not feel shit about myself than
Mm.
than live in anxiety. So
Preach.
that's, and again, maybe I'm being too direct, maybe I'm being too straightforward, but I'm that bitch. And so if so, Anoni, if you're going to come to me with this advice, that's all I can say to you, which is I would recommend being direct so that you can move on with your life, because there might be someone else out there that's going to give you that.
Okay, Anani, I have a different advice. slightly
And this is
different.
why we're on the podcast. This is why we're on the podcast, because we got two different advices.
Anani, so first things first is you need to clarify if this is actual flirtation. Clarify that with yourself. Don't
Yes.
romanticize small talk or fun flirtations with just jokes and being friends, right? Because there's those friends, which I say I don't talk to anybody at the gym, but there's a few people that I talk to at the gym, and like I hear them make comments to each other all the time, like, oh, okay, big booty, don't, you know what I mean? Don't let you get in my bed. But it's not because they want to take them home. It's just a boost of confidence towards that person. So
yeah.
Understand the conversations that you have, whether it's actual flirtation and interest, or if it's
I like that.
topical fun that you're just, because I'm assuming this is a gym friend because he meets a few people at the gym from the conversations we've had in the past. Or if it's just fun gym talk. And I hate that I'm using the word gym talk because precedent has used that. But just know, like, understand, is it something fun, light, and just gay? Or is it flirtation, interest, and pursuit? If you can distinguish, that, then I say shoot your shot. If you can't distinguish that and it's a gray area, leave it alone until it becomes clear. Or shoot your shot in a sense of like, yo, I think you're really cute. Like, I know we have fun and we talk and we BS sometimes. I think you're really cute. I think I might want to do a little something with you, or be, in a situationship. Whatever the case may be, if you want to be direct in that sense, like you said, you don't mind being friends. But just know that might also sever the fun topical conversations, because they might think that you misinterpret their fun for flirtation. So just be clear on, figure out what it is first that they're doing with you before you make any moves, or sit back and wait for somebody, which I don't encourage sitting and waiting for anybody. Just distinguish if it's one or the other first before you make any moves at all. Because if this could be a good friendship for you, you don't want to lose that either.
No, I like that. It definitely expands on what I was saying, which was be direct, but clarify. Like, so you took my advice to the next level, which was clarify that, but be direct in your clarification. Like, well, you don't know, like you say, you don't necessarily have to be direct, but you could just be playful about it, to be like, you gonna touch my butt next time? No, I don't know. And if he says, nah, bro, then,
like, okay, all right, well, okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go hide now.
I'm gonna go.
And with that being said, let's move on to the oh no moment of the week. Dun, 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 dun. Paul, take it away.
Okay, so I've got two oh no moments of the week. So the first oh no moment of the week kind of touches on to, I guess, what we've been talking about. Now, again, I say that I don't get into situationships, but I kind of want to maybe figure out a new definition for this. But I feel like I've learned, I've always questioned a lot of times, like, why can't I, have those one night stands, or why don't I like meet hookups on a dance floor and like, why don't I just like pick up really easily? But at the end of the day, the types of experiences that I have and the people that I meet are actually pretty deep connections, like a connection that feels really nice and we have really good conversation and there is an intimate and romantic connection there. Like, those are the connections that I have. And, I've met a lot of people, I've traveled, I've had, through my travels and through, meeting people through life, I've developed these connections with people. And, sometimes I'm in their city, sometimes they're in my city, and I find myself, I don't want to call it a situationship because it is time limited. Like, the other week someone visited here in South Australia in Adelaide, and we had the boyfriend experience. For a week, they were my boyfriend. So, yeah, I think I had this moment like this week. Oh, but now I'm single. I am single. I just want to clarify, I'm single. And I'm single,
Get
and
at him.
my DMs are free.
And they're open.
And they're open, girl. Um, but yeah, I just had this moment this week where I was like, maybe I'm not in situationships, but maybe I have boyfriend experiences, and yeah. But I'm open to the boyfriend experiences. I'm open to opening DMs. I'm opening to filling holes. Like I'm open to a lot of things. But yeah, that was my first owner moment of the week where I was just like, oh my god, like I don't get myself into situationships. I get myself into boyfriend experiences. Yeah, and my second oh no moment of the week is, so Leah sends me a message this week and she goes, did you know that if you keep taking and using psyllium husk, by the time you're 50 years old, you're going to need to wear a nappy? And I said, where did you get this information from? Who is telling you this? And she said her friend who's a nurse. And look, I've said it a few times. We've said it a few times. In a few of our episodes, we have touched on medical advice. So I want to give a shout out, give a call out to there. We want gay doctors on the podcast so that we can clarify.
Can you clarify what a nappy is in Australia?
A nappy is like an adult diaper. Adult diaper.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, like, we want gay doctors on the podcast so that we can spill the tea on certain things. Like, excuse me, day doctor, if I continue to take fiber supplements because I like to be ready, am I going to wear an adult diaper when I'm 50 years old? Are adult diapers fashionable? Like, those are the types of advice that we need. Gay doctors, where are you? Reach out to us.
My oh no moment of the week is I just got back from Amsterdam.
Whew, I love
beautiful, beautiful city. Beautiful. There's a lot of beauty out there, and it's fun. A lot, just fun. The Dutch are very forward.
Yes, they are.
Very forward. I was walking because I have this thing where I try McDonald's in every country that I go to.
Yes,
so
and you
I
have
was
to.
walking back
You have
from
to.
McDonald's, and I was walking back from Primark. So I went to Primark and I went to McDonald's.
Love Primark. Yeah.
And I got this new shirt from Primark.
Yes.
So I was walking and I was like real happy because I got 40 pieces of nuggets, right? Because I love a good 40
Oh my
piece.
gosh. No, can I just really say, like, nuggets, the McDonald's nuggets in the Netherlands are actually the best in the world, like the world. And I'm going to put that on record.
Amazing.
They are actually the best nuggets from McDonald's anywhere in the world. Continue.
Yes, I 100% agree. So I noticed that this man is like getting up on me, right? Like he's here. Like, and if you're listening to this, he's roughly like a foot away from me. And so I turn and pause because, I have an attitude. I turn and pause and I gave the look like, what is happening? Like, why are you so close to me? Right. That's the look I gave. And then I keep walking thinking, okay, he's going to get the hint. Still walking. And then he speeds up a little bit and he gets next to me. And then he turns and winks at me. So then I really throw him a look like, not even on your best day type of look, like, get away from me. So I get to the front of the hotel. I walk into the roundabout, right? Because of the wind. So they have roundabouts there that you walk in. It takes you to the other side. So I'm walking through the roundabout. He doubles back and comes through the roundabout and follows me into the hotel. And the security guard noticed that I wasn't shooken by any chance. Like, girl, I will fight anybody if they touch me in
You
the
were
wrong
just
way.
aware, like he noticed you were aware of your
He noticed
surroundings.
that he noticed that something was off and that I was clearly not traveling with this person and they were following me.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
right away he got next to me. He started having a conversation with me, like, "Hey, like, how's your night going? Da, da, da. You went to Primark, like, cute. What did you get? Blah blah blah." Like, I don't know if he's one of the girls or if he was just a genuinely nice person, because the Dutch are very fluid sexually in the way that they present themselves,
Yes, they
and
are.
their interactions with same sex is almost identical to the opposite sex.
Mm.
And then the other security guard, I don't know if he gave him a nod or whatever, but he said, "Sir, I need you to get out of this building." And then the guy like turned around and walked away. But I just thought, like, damn, I almost got kidnapped. But not like taken kidnapped. It was more just like I got cruised, and I gave clear indications that I was not into this man. And clearly he didn't take it that way. So I guess next time I'm just gonna have to say out loud, like, don't follow me, I'm not into you. Please get away from me. So that was
Look,
my oh no moment of the week, is that apparently
and
I still got it because I got followed, bitch.
and and all I'm
So
gonna
that's oh
say
no in a good
is
way and oh no in a bad way.
exactly, because all I'm gonna say is that there are some single people out there with their DMs open who are ready to mingle, and y'all are here complaining that you're being stalked. When look, I am open to being stalked.
Let's be very, 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 very clear. This person was not my type in any way or form, or just I. It's always like, here's the thing, because we gotta wrap. We gotta wrap. We're already at an hour.
We're
We
gonna
gotta
wrap.
wrap. Here's the
We're gonna
thing: the ones that I want to come for me
wrap.
rarely ever do, right?
Shut
And the
up.
ones,
Shut up.
no, because Rome was a one-off, and that never happens.
Okay.
So Rome was a one-off. It's usually the one where you see all the memes on Instagram where the cute one walks up to you and they're like, "My friend's into you," and then you turn and their friend looks like Quasimodo, and you just think to yourself, "Oh, bless them. I hope they have a good heart." And then you think to yourself, "I'm also not going home with this person, and I'm not going to occupy a conversation with them," because it's not even like, here's the thing, right? You can be ugly and cute. Like, you could be cute and ugly. And I don't mind either one of those things, right? I can occupy a conversation with you. And I might even be into you. But when you don't even put the effort into presenting yourself or like combing your hair, like,
Yes.
did you brush your damn teeth today? Like,
Did you look in the mirror?
did you
Did you
do
look in the
anything?
mirror?
Did you wash your
Yeah.
face? What did you do? Because I don't know what you did. I can't clearly tell what you, because there are some ugly people who dress themselves up cute, and I don't want to call anybody ugly, but just, like, there could be some people who are not my type who dress themselves up
Yeah.
in a nice, presentable way, and I think to myself, this person takes care of themselves.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we've talked about this before on the podcast. I'm into people who take care of their skin, brush their teeth, brush their hair, like, just put effort into themselves. I don't want someone who looks like Frumpty Dumpty. Okay. Don't want that.
Nope.
I don't want slob kebab. I don't want that.
Stop kebab.
I want,
I wanna
you know,
I wanna open a food truck now called Slub Kebab.
and it, like, if you're going to approach, please make sure that make sure you got good breath, make sure you smell nice, you have something presentable that is you're just presenting the best version of yourself. I don't want a half-ass tore up version that just probably threw up in the toilet because you're drunk walking up to me, because that is the easiest way to get you pushed into a wall. So yes, the Netherlands, not any type of person that I would ever be interested in a million years. And it's always the old. I had to pick up the microphone for this one. Old, like, I'm talking like 30 years difference. Like, in what world did you think I'm 60 years old and I'm going to talk to this 30-year-old man because I'm definitely his type, sir? If you don't back up, this is not going to be a situationship. Okay, thank you. Unless you got money, 401k, and one foot in the grave, then we can talk about it.
All I know is, let us know if you want us to put a reel together of all of Russell's rants. Rants by Russ,
You know what? I go in when I do rant. Sometimes we
Love
just
it.
hit that
Love
nerve
it.
and I just go down the rabbit hole.
And again, I'm that friend that's in the background like this.
And with that being said,
Yes.
y'all, if you have any more situationship and you need advice, please let us know. Next week, we have a guest that's going to come visit us, and we're going to talk about Sniffy's Grinder Hinge. Is it love? Is it hookup? Is it lust? Is it dry? Is it working for you? And if not, how do we fix it? See you next week. Bye. Paul's
Is it
mortified.
dry? Is it dry? Oh my gosh.